Awesome. So Shannon, where do you think that this showed up?
It showed up on my P&L.
Show me where it showed up on the P&L. Let's how you go there.
So we'll just do medium again. Get those numbers. So right here, semi-fixed expense in my rentals, $75.
Okay. So we just started with just the revenue, just a couple invoices that we had done. Basically what's happening is it's automatically feeding in to that piece of the puzzle. It also affected your bank because you physically took it out. Okay. Now, technically what that does is it leaves a little bit of a loose tail. You know about it. The bank has no clue about it. Okay, that's kind of the next step. Like, basically, you're doing your job. You're just doing what naturally happens. Okay. Perfect, perfect. Okay, Chris, you want to give it a go? Sure. Say that we actually want to do another classroom rental, and say you're going to pay another one. We'll let you do the whole process so you can practice printing the check and everything, okay?
So I'm adding an expense, but I don't need to add a
Yeah, the vendor already exists, and the bucket already exists, so this should be super fast.
So we're going to do an expense receipt.
Mm-hmm.
Create a new one. And this is, I guess, where we search here. Okay.
There's actually a create receipt tag right there on the
Okay,
left.
and that's what I was looking at. I was wondering if that's where I needed to go.
Perfect. Yep, that's perfect.
Are we doing $75?
You want to do 75 again?
Sure.
We'll do 75.
They gave us a nice standard fee.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's sometimes different.
New
It-
keyboard.
It is. It's always.
So true.
Okay, so let's see here.
You'll want to go down to the rental, and it's kind of truncated a little bit on this format.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was looking for a longer tag there. Okay. And how are we paying today?
We're going to do check, and it happens to be 2292. Load it in here for you. So you now have expense receipt number 5. It exists in the system. It's already typed itself out to the different places, but it's not been printed. So scroll down a little bit more, and there's your button.
Okay.
Now, there's show hide options here, like if you didn't want certain things to be shown and hide or whatever, you have options. But you need to click the little green button that says print check. And then select the HP. Yeah. Now, basically, depending on how many printers you're connected to, that's what ends up happening.
Right.
So this success message basically says, hey, I was spooled, at least to the printer, and who knows if it actually happened or not. If something happens, you're like, oh my goodness, it totally ate my thing and I need to do it again. There's a way that you can actually flip that. And if you do, it'll actually create a reprinted flag for that particular check. Okay? So now you want to go ahead and return back to the expense receipt.
Just go back.
Yeah, however you want.
Okay.
So watch this. If you just did that, so the browser has no clue that it needed to update.
Okay.
But if you hit refresh, like go ahead and click on print check again. Say you're like, oh, I'm going to print out another one. Just for fun, I just want to show you. Hang on, according to what I've done, you've already printed that. Okay, like it's gonna, like you can't just, cool, you know, print. So it will keep trying to help you as much as possible.
Okay.
Go ahead and hit back, hit refresh, just so you can see what it actually does have printed by who. The kind of like it displays new documentation because it has you updated some statuses. Okay, cool. So we're gonna now scan this big bad boy. We can just open up that scanner wizard. It's actually on the bottom there. Oh, you put it on. Perfect. Just hit next. Back. Sorry about that. Okay, and now next. Next. Okay, so it's scanning right now. While it's scanning, you can just let it do its job. Go ahead and return back to your expense receipt. Scroll up to the top. And just so you can kind of see what's going on, click on your expense receipt homepage for a second. I just want to show you the difference. See how there's icons on that far left-hand side? Which one has it, which one doesn't?
Right.
Kind of depends on if you've added documentation or not.
Okay.
So literally, this is a quick link. It'll just take you right into, ooh, yeah, I want to add some documentation. And then you click Browse. There's multiple ways around as far as how we're trying to help you flag your stuff. So before you want, boom, add it. Or whatever. If if you want to put notes, it totally records it. You put up to 255 characters and whatever. Okay, it just did it. It's good to go. And why don't you go ahead and just click on printable receipt. There's a little icon at the tippy top if you actually wanted to see the gallery.
This one?
Yep. So it kind of always shows you in the small version first, and if you wanted to look at it, you can basically get to it in the bigger version. So that one now has expense receipt number 5 in a little box. Has your check number, your amount, everything's good. That's just a scan, so that's not like a live link on your scan there, but correct. Perfect. That was a piece of cake. That was a piece of cake. So, and I know I'm not going to try to belabor this, and we're not going to do it on every single one, but what are we expecting on our P&L now? Double, right? We should have double on. So watch this. We'll just real quick jump into it. P&L. Go show me everything. I just want to actually see it. We come down here, classroom rental, 150. Okay. If we wanted to actually see what that was, here's the cool piece about the P&L that's built because it was done from an operation standpoint. When you click on it, you're back into your full details. Oh, expense receipt number 4, expense receipt number 5. Who's my vendor? Who did it? Here's the notes. Like, there's additional pieces. If we're like, whoa, why did we do 2 of them? We could actually go into one of them and be like, okay, who did this one? On such and such. Like, you can go deeper and deeper and deeper because all of the data exists there. We just basically kind of are stacking and summing things up, and that's kind of how we do some of the accounting stuff. Perfect. So that's pretty straightforward, and that's, if you play that game, it'll flow straight across. What happens if we actually have a bill that all of a sudden we don't pay? What happens in accounting, and then what happens in real life, like what happens in Adilas? Let's talk real quick for just a brief second on accounting, okay? I'm just going to clear this right here. So it has nothing in it. Let's say we have a new bill. Shannon, we have a new bill, and say we are paying for our Adilas account. And say for this little seamstress shop, say it was $47 a month, okay? But I get the bill, but I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to, I got to wait to pay this for at least a day or 2. I know that's teeny, but I'm just fictitiously saying that, okay? So what actually happens?
It will be an accounts payable.
Okay,
It'll just
perfect.
kind of wait there.
Okay, so we know that we're going to end up needing something. This is probably some sort of a service we're paying for, like accounting service or web service, or let's just call it a web service, okay? And let's, what did I say, 47?
Mm-hmm.
So we know that it's going to hit our income statement on our expense side, okay? However, we are not pulling it out of the bank, okay? The bank is unchanged at this point. What actually happens? How do we get it into an accounts payable system?
Sorry, how do you pay your accounts payable?
No, how does it get into the accounts payable?
Oh, we would create an expense but not pay it.
Correct. So all you have to do is just the operation side of it, okay? Create the expense, and then on the very bottom, instead of saying this much coming out of my bank, you just say on account, okay? What it does is it automatically says, okay, cool, guess what? Instead of hitting here, it comes here to your AP waiting room. What does AP stand for again?
Accounts payable.
Okay, and so all of a sudden it would come here. $47 over here, okay? You still owe somebody some money, okay? Because you physically didn't take it out of the bank. So technically, if everything happens, you're still in perfect balance with 0 automation at all, okay? So what let's do is I'm going to go ahead and run through that process. We'll come right here. I'll go to the expense receipt homepage. We've been constantly clicking on create new, create new. Shannon, are there any other ways that you could potentially do this?
Yeah, you could go to your quick search.
Okay.
But you could type in a new that way.
Okay, watch this. You could go expense receipt
New.
and new, and it'll drop you right to this vendor search, if you
But
will.
you could just go to the vendor.
You
say
could also
create new
just go
expense
vendor and say, hey, we need to pay Adilas, okay?
Mhm.
Perfect. Wow, we loaded ourselves in there.
Great. So create a receipt for Adilas.
Okay, create a receipt. So basically I just skipped a couple steps right there, okay? Because I skipped create new, search for the vendor. I'm like, I know it's going to be a vendor, and then I'll decide from there, okay?
Yeah, that'd be the way.
So we've got $47. And you know what? They said that they would actually like this by 10:15. We're going to go ahead and put a due date in here versus just letting it be blank, okay? And they gave us an invoice number. just so I can track it back on their system, and it's some invoice number. And monthly system fees. It's really hard to spell sometimes and talk because like your mind is like in multiple different places. Okay, guess what? We forgot to load this thing, huh?
We did.
Okay. We could put it under fees or accounting, or just put it under I'm not sure, and then circle back around and say outside service of some sort.
Sure.
We'll just put it here. We'll dump it in a bucket, and then we'll flip it so that it can kind of get where it needs to go. Now, here's the important piece. What do I do here, Shannon?
On account. Check that little box.
So right here, you can see how it's 47, check, First National. It's prepped. It's kind of like, hey, this is what you did last time. You know, all you do is you go like this. Nope, just kidding. It's completely on account. So it technically will satisfy the whole thing. So at this point, I get a new number, okay? I currently mapped it to the wrong bucket, but it's currently going to show up on my P&L on the I don't know account, and my single payment is currently on account. So technically, what happened is it hit the P&L, but it also hit the balance sheet. Remember how we did it right here? We hit the P&L on the expenses, but we also hit the balance sheet with the liability. Here's how that looks, okay? Should we fix this really quick, just so it's fixed?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just do that really quick. Expense receipt homepage, we'll jump into the expense types. We need a new bucket. And this is, let's call it services. And we'll call it my Adilas fees or something. And say add the account. Now I'm going to use the quick search. I'm currently in edited expense types, but I'm going to go like this. You know what? I know that there's a magic keyword called last. Go to it. Perfect. Here's the wrong bucket. I'm going to go to edit the line items. If I hit edit main, that's this piece, okay? Edit the line items means put me kind of into a general edit mode. Edit line items. Go find that bucket. Click it. Flip it to the new one. We put that under services. Okay, there we go. And if that's too long, no problem. We can fix it. It's a piece of cake. Okay. Boom. It's technically all the way through there. So nothing's happening. We're just kind of modifying our data. It's all good. But let's go check it out. So P&L, we should have hit it for a new $47, right? P&L, we're going to come here, expand it out, show it. Okay. Oh, here's my services for $47. Okay. So I've got it hit on the P&L. Okay, let's talk balance sheet for just a quick second. Okay. Now, how's it going to hit on the balance sheet? Accounts payable. Owed on account. Okay. For 197. Looks like we have some other pieces of the puzzle in there. Okay. Let's go check it out. I'm looking for my $47. Okay, there's my $47. I just wanted to kind of see what was in there. Looks like somebody else had kind of done some different things. And once again, this is a demo site, so you'd have to investigate, if you will, kind of like, okay, what is actually, and it's literally this easy. Okay, show me what we got here. Let's go into the printable of this. When did this happen? Oh, way back in 12, and and like, you'll be able to tell what's happening. But basically, it goes on accounts. We owe some money, okay? So what happens right here inside of the Adilas thing is basically what virtually happened right there with that transaction. We had a vendor tied to an expense, and we added a line item, which put it in the correct bucket, which made it hit here, okay? That created that tie, okay? However, the other tie that normally happens is money coming out of the bank, but instead of that, we said, oh, guess what? You're going to be now called virtually what we call a split, which is basically, we call it splits because when you end up paying everything, potentially you're going to take one bigger payment and split it into smaller ones to satisfy those subs, okay? Virtually what splits does, this AP waiting room is a summation of who do I owe for this, who do I owe for this, who do I owe for this, who do I owe for this. So you're virtually here, which it automatically, pretend that this is an auto thing, it feeds itself up to the balance sheet, okay? So technically we've done everything we need to until it's actually time to pay that off, okay? So it's just sitting there happily and we're good to go. Awesome. sometimes it kind of helps to kind of see the whole process, like, okay, where's it supposed to go, where did it go, and like, et cetera, et cetera. If you made a mistake, what we do inside of Adilas is you just go back and fix the mistake, and then it will potentially flow on where you want it to.